Round 2 of the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship is based in the city of Timaru in the South Canterbury province. With a rich history in motorsport, the area boasts a variety of spectacular roads from tough forests in the north to super fast gravel roads in the south. In today's show, we meet Timaru policeman Darren Galbraith taking time off to patrol the stages in his Ford Fiesta. We meet one of the biggest teams in New Zealand rally sport, and just how good are our commentators on a rally sim?
Round 1 at Otago saw a sensational rookie performance by young driver Jack Stokes, who has taken the reins of brother Robbie's AP4 Fiesta. Stokes Jr. held the rally lead over the first 5 stages before falling back just 10 seconds to Ben Hunt by the day's end. Hunt had traded second and third position with Robbie Stokes, both driving Skoda Rally 2 cars. Robbie happy with his progress in the new car. On day 2, Jack Stokes got within 2 seconds of Hunt before stopping in Berwick Forest with a whole radiator. But Robbie Stokes pushed hard in the forest to take the lead by 10 seconds over Hunt. At the start of the final stage, the legendary Curry Bush, Hunt had closed to within a tenth of a second. In the end, it came down to a slow gear change in the stage by Stokes. And Hunt took the opening round honours. Dean Bewis took out double honours in the historic class, winning that and heading home former WRC drivers Hayden Padden and Chris Meek to be crowned the Otago Classic Rally Champion. So Ben Hunt leads the points after round 1 from Robbie Stokes. Fantastic return to NZRC by Josh Marston in third, tied with Jack Hawkswood. Emma Gilmore fourth with 20 points, with Dean Bewis leading the two-wheel drive and historics. Bryn Jones just behind and heading Cat 2. Dave Strong leading Cat 3, but Jack Stokes coming away with only 3 points despite winning 4 stages.
The South Canterbury Hydraulics Rally South Canterbury would start with a tough run through Kakahu Forest, finishing on a steep downhill cleared area, then 2 public road stages, narrow but fast, before the service at Cave. Then the route headed south, below Timaru, where the stages are wider but super fast. The power stage at Mongati Stage 4, service in Temuka, then back to the forest in a repeat of Stage 1 before a blast around Levels Raceway. Timaru has been home to motor racing champions for decades, including New Zealand rally champion Chris West. So growing up here, it was no surprise that Darren Galbraith would take to racing on the gravel.
My father used to co-drive and did the odd hill climb here and there in a friend's Datsun 1200 back in the day, and we used to go out and watch rallies, middle of the night, bonfires going, and when we were just young kids, we'd watch the rally every year, and I bought my first car in '96, I think it was, with a student loan from the Polytech. did the local rally that year for the first time, so yeah, started in a Datsun 1200 and just, yeah, still going. I had a Mazda 3D3 and had a pretty sizable accident here actually down Backline Road in 2000, so that car was destroyed. So I think 2013 bought the Evo 6, the ex-Deborah Kibble car, so then we entered Cat 5, so first time doing National Championship. On from there, we bought an Evo 8, which was an ex-Brett Martin car. It was one of the first Evo 8s in the country, so the car's still alive. But yeah, we did National Championship Cat 1 in that, 2017, 2018. Not one of my finer moments. Yeah, famous corner, Joe's corner.
Have a crest, 200.
Joe happened to be standing on the corner, and the first thing I hear when I'm standing on the side of the road is, I guess it's called Galbraith's Corner now. I bought the car 3 years ago. Funny story about how I came to buy it. It was at the Whangarei Rally over a few beers, talking to Dylan Thompson, who had it for sale on behalf of Cam McLean. Purchased that. It's an XM Sport Fiesta. It's actually the Kate Barry scholarship car, and very well-built cars and relatively cheap in the scheme of things to run and own these days. I've gone sort of full circle. I started in a rear-wheel drive, then went to four-wheel drive, and now I'm in front-wheel drive. If I were to do it again, I would probably starting a front-wheel drive. It teaches you some great skills. It's not overly different to running an Evo, the way you drive them. Once you get them up to speed, you do drive them sort of like a four-wheel drive car, which gives you that skill. If you want to go fast and get to, high places, then front-wheel drive, I think, teaches you some really good skills.
Darren's one of 3 drivers entered in the Rally Challenge two-wheel drive class and wasted no time in taking the class lead on stage 1. Thomas Paul slipped off the road on stage 1 and lost 2 minutes as he recovered.
Just a stupid wee mistake and pinched a brake just on a slow corner. We just got stuck, nosed off, and Bridget had to hop out and push, and luckily we were stopped where Hayden Graves and Jack Stokes were, and one of them gave us a hand as well, because just wasn't even off the road, just stuck in the mud.
So Ian Warren in the Pulsar moved into second place. Galbraith's Fiesta was purpose-built by M Sport in the UK and served future champions Ben Hunt and David Holder in their formative years. But it was hard work for him as the power steering had failed. The cars of Ian Warren and Thomas Paul are Kiwi-built with more power but less sophisticated chassis. On the southern stages, Thomas Paul made the most of his powerful Honda engine to be fastest. Long straights on stage 4 and the Honda is pinned at top revs. Galbraith just 1.8 seconds slower on the stage but still in the lead. Ian Warren just 9 seconds behind but lucky to get out of this on stage 5. Paul was fastest over the final 3 stages, including a clean run through Kākahu Forest, but that time lost on stage 1 was too much to make up. Warren was able to keep second place with a margin of 44 seconds on his first time using pace notes. And Galbraith claiming a home win in the class, with the next round at Canterbury sure to provide another close battle.
Seven entries on the Rally Challenge four-wheel drive, including 3 Subaru H6s. Caleb McDonald in the Evo 6 was fastest through the forest, but only a narrow margin between him and Gavin Feast. But on stage 2, Feast went wide on a corner, got stuck and lost 10 minutes, ending his chances for the day. Ben Hubin in third on stage 1, the leading H6, which is a Subaru running the 3-litre 6-cylinder engine without a turbo. This was Hubin's first drive in this car. He was flying home on Saturday night to get to Whangarei in time to run his Pro Drive WRX at the Ruarangi Road Sprint. Full commitment to a motorsport weekend. But by stage 2 it was Josh Keeley in second in his H6. And Kevin Laird in third with Hubin now back in fourth. Brian Green held fifth in the Mitsubishi Evo 9, the 78-year-old admitting that the forest stage was tough work. Tough too for Terry Taylor, who had a last-minute co-driver change the day before the rally, but survived the treacherous conditions.
Yeah, really just focusing on today and setting some good stage times and getting comfortable in the car again, and then once we get through today, we'll look forward to what's to come.
But it was 23-year-old Josh Keeley who held second and showed maturity to stay ahead of the other H6 Subarus throughout the day.
It's been good. It's my first time doing this rally, so it's good to get a good mix of events and locations and roads. So, yeah, enjoying it so far and looking forward to the rest of it.
McDonald was fastest through stage 4, the power stage, and you can see just how fast these stages are.
Crest slight left.
Josh Keeley holding second place through the afternoon stages, but only by 45 seconds, so any slight mistake could see that disappear. And the gap between Kevin Laird here in third and Brian Green in fifth, just 36 seconds. Ben Hubin in fourth between these two, but his gap to Brian Green was narrowing. On stage 5, Brian Green was faster than both Laird and Hubin. In fact, this has been one of his best performances in recent seasons, showing that age is no barrier for this legend of our sport. And Terry Taylor finishing 6th, staying ahead of Gavin Feast, who had an eventful day, but at least got to the finish to take the final points. Final forestry stage was tough, but all the Rally Challenge cars made it through to the finish with some relief.
Into 5 right minus long. Into 4 left plus, don't go wide.
I think it was almost slipperier this time around than it was this morning. So, yeah, a bit of a white knuckle ride through there. Good fun, but pleased to be out and heading back to levels to try and do the last stage. So we're all in one piece, so had a good day. It's been bloody fun.
Another strong result for Caleb McDonald. Second for Josh Keeley in the H6, Kevin Laird and Ben Hubin under 10 seconds apart, and Brian Green rounding out the top 5. Next up, we find out just what it takes to run a multi-car team in the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship.
Welcome back to the South Canterbury Hydraulics Rally South Canterbury. Last time out at Otago, we looked inside a rally service truck. This week, we meet the man behind one of New Zealand's most successful rally teams and look at what it takes to run his rally clients on an event.
4 cars this weekend. It makes it a little tricky because we're running a multicultural with Japanese and New Caledonian with the French language, and we've got an Australian in our little Yaris as well, and then we've got Greenie. So total is 24 people here, including the drivers and co-drivers. I do all the motel bookings, restaurant bookings, tyres, vans, staff, where you got to be, everything. I do the lot.
You watch the next service when he's doing it all by himself.
Yeah.
I'd like to be called Camp Dad. Yeah.
It's very good when I can just fly in here in this case on Thursday, do recce on Friday, go home tomorrow, and I don't have to worry about cleaning everything up and that sort of thing, so it's very, very good. On the other side, there is a lot of work in getting cars transported around, and we're really pleased with the way that Rally Out go about doing that for us, and it makes it a lot more enjoyable and a lot easier for me, that's for sure.
It's a good challenge. And when it works, it's great. Yeah, you get some sort of accomplishment out of it, but when it goes wrong, the headache is really big.
We turn our attention to the historic class. Dean Buist heading a field of 3 Ford Escorts, a Toyota Corolla, a Nissan Silvia and a Mitsubishi Lancer. Dean Buist is one of the most experienced drivers in mainland rallying and an absolute specialist when it comes to getting the most out of a 2-wheel drive car. He's been a New Zealand Formula 2 champion in a Corolla, even built and competed in a replica Volkswagen Golf Group A car, but it's his times in Escorts that have seen him win the most. This car, bearing the number plate IF780, has a history of one of the mass sport Escorts driven by Ari Vartanen, and of course is the current Otago Classic Rally winning car. Dean setting a cracking pace on the early stages with over a minute lead from the chasing Escorts of Stephen Gill and Andy Martin. Gill was second on stage 1, but not really enjoying the 22-kilometre forest stage.
I didn't really enjoy that. No? It's not Escort material, I can assure you that. It's pretty slippery.
Andy Martin had changed the Escort back to carburetors after having fuel injection issues at Otago. But the car wasn't quite right and he struggled in the forest before finding more pace on the public road stages. The following 3 cars are not in the same league as the Escorts, but that's what gives this class its unique appeal. Paul Fraser had sold the Escort we saw him in 2024 and pulled his Nissan Silvia out of the shed just before Otago dusted off the cobwebs and took it to the stages. He was in fourth and in a good scrap with Pat Norris. This Corolla is a new car for Norris after a few years competing in a 1300 Yaris.
We've completely stripped the car again, and because it was his first run in Otago, and all the mods we've done, or the improvements we've done on it, are certainly helping it now, but it's just a matter of learning the car again and trying to get it to drive right.
And the final car in the Historics was the Mitsubishi Lancer of Mike and Helen Cameron. This car was built in 2000. Mike Cameron has always been a fan of the Mitsubishi Diamonds, having rallied the Lancer GSR Turbo in the 80s. Dean Buist had a brief off-road excursion, not the first time that IF780 has been damaged on a rally, but he kept his lead throughout the afternoon to score another class win, clear of Stephen Gill. Both Gill in the blue Holbay powered Escort and Andy Martin in his BDA powered version had swapped stage times throughout the afternoon. By stage 6, Gill had the gap out to 28 seconds, which would be over a minute by the time the cars reached the finish at Levels Raceway. Andy Martin would finish third, admitting that he still has much to learn about driving this car.
First stage it was dreadful. The car's doesn't fit like a glove yet, so backing off when I can't sort of see it. So there's heaps of time there, but really enjoying the roads.
Paul Fraser had the Nissan into fourth ahead of Pat Norris, but he clipped a bank on stage 6 and bent the steering. So Norris was able to catch him in the final forestry stage, and by the time they reached the finish at Levels, it was Norris in fourth by 23 seconds. No damage to the Cameron's Lancer though, the old Lancer cruising to 6th place. Dean Buist puts himself firmly in contention for the historic title with that win. But another second for Stephen Gill means he will be keeping Buist honest all season. Andy Martin was third, while Pat Norris coming home fourth just ahead of Paul Fraser, with the Camerons keeping their finishing record intact in 6th.
Next up, just how skilled are our commentary team? The top drivers of the Nzrc go to battle on the roads of South Canterbury. Welcome back to the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship as we go behind the scenes at each event. And we're better to measure the skill of rally driving than the House of Sports Simulation in the heart of Timaru City.
Right, we're here at the House of Sports Simulation in Timaru with some of the best simulation gear in the country, from golf to flight simulators and best of all some rally cars. We're going to put one of our best co-drivers in Matty Hayward, part-time driver as well, up alongside me and BB. Let's see how we go.
Well, this is my first go in an R5 rally car. Let's see how it goes.
3, 2, 1, go. 20. Crest 450. Right to tightens 70. 6 left to crest. Loading 5 left. Stay right. Keep it. 80. 6 left. Okay, so 2 minutes 23.
An R5 car's one of the few cars I haven't crashed, so we'll have a go to what happens.
Good luck. Go 120. Crest 450. Into tightens 70. 6 left on crest. 20. 80. 6 left. Tightens 5 past junction.
That's how you do it. Well, it turns out golfing's quite irrelevant, boys, but that rallying was quite something, wasn't it?
Bloody amazing to have rally cars with no bells. How good?
I don't know, I still reckon Budgie's racked up a fair bit.
Yeah, you can drive the golf cart, but you can caddy.
Yeah, sounds good. Beers? Beers. Job's on, boys. Job's on.
I think it's safe to say that everyone competing in the Nzrc is better at driving than the commentary team. Bryn Jones and Tim Mackesy alone in the Nzrc two-wheel drive class, but that adds extra pressure to finish.
Look, you do have to think about just trying to finish, and this event in the past has been an absolute jinx, so if we've just got to, as long as I can get through that forestry stage, I can focus on the rest of the stages because they're a little bit more favourable. So let's just see how it happens, and we'll go from there.
200 horsepower and front-wheel drive, just keeping traction in the forestry stage was a challenge, as you can see and hear. Bryn balancing power and revs, especially coming out of tight corners.
2 right minus up. 2 right minus up. 150.
Cut 80.
Same for Tim Mackesy, but both drivers putting in impressive times overall.
6 right 50. 6 left closing to 5 minus 30.
Jones first on the road and cleared the stage at a time of 20 minutes and 12 seconds. But it was Mackesy who would take the early lead, narrowly, just 1.4 seconds faster over the 22.3 kilometre stage. That was short-lived though, as Jones took the lead back on stage 2 and continued to pull away over the morning. On the power stage, Jones even taking a chance over a Ford, not backing off at all, but getting away with it.
Kind of okay. Long 4 right, tightens 3 minus up. Long 4 right, tightens 3 minus up. You're good? Yeah.
The problem for Mackesy was tyre temperature. He just couldn't get the tyres up to a temperature where they're designed for grip. Change in the starting tyre pressures helped, and over the afternoon stages, the two drivers swapped fastest times. But Jones was able to hold on to the lead to take the victory and the points on offer. Dave Strong was back in open two-wheel drive in his Honda Jazz Special. Buoyed by the car's performance at Otago, he was confident fast gravel roads would suit the Honda, providing he could get safely through the forest. But maybe a little too careful of the forest, because Paul Cross in the 1600 Corolla was faster by a minute to take the early lead.
Dave, conditions in there on stage 1 for you? Not as bad as I'd feared, but unpredictably slippery, so just taking it easy.
The V6 powered Honda then came to the fore as Strong chased Cross through the morning, turning the lead around on stage 4. Paul Cross had originally intended to compete in the historic class, so this car is absolutely as it would have run in the 80s.
Yeah, no, look, it's tight up top with Gilly and Dean and the boys there. So yeah, no, I'd like to think we can be in the top 4 or 5 of those guys once we get going. So yeah, next year.
So Dave Strong takes the class win and extends his class points lead. Bryn Jones takes the two-wheel drive win over Tim Mackesy. Dave Strong taking the win over Paul Cross. Next up, can Ben Hunt build on his narrow Otago victory? It's the top class action from the South Canterbury Hydraulics Rally South Canterbury.
Eight teams had entered the top category of the Brian Green Property Group New Zealand Rally Championship and gathered at pre-start at Mitre 10 Timaru. Dylan Thompson was making a return to the championship in his Subaru.
I did get a little bit of itchy feet, and I think Richard got itchy feet as well watching, so we decided to enter South Canterbury. It's a really cool rally and it's super close to home, so perfect for us.
But all eyes were on the Skoda entries of Robbie Stokes and Ben Hunt as the favourites for the event.
I think the Forester is probably going to be a bit more suited to our car, and then there's a lot of very fast public roads this year, so we'll be struggling to keep up with the AP4s, but always just go flat out, and we've changed a bit in the pace notes and changed the setup of the car a bit as well for this rally, so might go faster, might go slower, we don't know yet. We're just still learning and having fun along the way.
Yeah, it was awesome to finally win Otago, only a couple of seconds in it, and the Stokes boys went bloody well down there, so it's going to be tricky tomorrow, I reckon, starting in the forestry. There's a few Ks here in different sections of the road that are a bit slippery downhill and quite fast, but then it's got some very fast public roads in the middle and then finish with the forestry, so it'll be interesting. There's not a lot of time to make up if there's any dramas or anything, so it's definitely a bit of a sprint one tomorrow.
Conditions were perfect as the cars left Levels Racetrack on Saturday morning, but heavy rain the previous day had left the stages wet and in some places slippery. No doubt this is in the back of Ben Hunt's mind as he tackled the 23-kilometre Kākahu Forest. As the stage dives into the forest, the road's narrow and in places there is little traction. But the end of the stage is clear felled, the road already drying out, but the dense forest now replaced by a big drop off to the right of the road.
6 right plus, tightens to keep in 6 minus, tightens to keep in 5, into sudden long 2 left.
The stage record from 2021 is 17 minutes 50.7 seconds. Ben's time 17:51.1, not a bad start to the day. Robbie Stokes struggled through the stage, having 3 spins and realising something was not right with the car. His time was 1 minute 22 seconds slower than Ben Hunt, so not the start he was hoping for.
Something wrong with the downshifts on the gearbox, so we got no confidence, had about 3 spins. So
3 spins?
Yeah, first time I've spun a car in about 5 years.
Jack Hawkswood looking for a better performance in his AP4 Yaris. He had been unsure about doing the full championship in 2025, but now committed to the South Island rounds at least. He had a trouble-free run through the stage, and his time 18 minutes and 30 seconds.
And 4 right in junction.
Dylan Thompson was next through the stage as Jack Stokes had already struck trouble and was out for the day. This Subaru was the oldest car in the category, but Thompson showed last year that he can still be competitive.
5 left minus 80.
And while Dylan has been taking time off from rallying, co-driver Baden has been teamed up with young Kiwi driver Zeel Jones in the Japanese Rally Championship, 2 events already under their belt in 2025. Thompson's time was just 0.1 of a second slower than Hawkswood. A great start to the day. Not a great start for Emma Gilmore though. Her Citroen Rally 2 car cut out in the stage.
I know what happened. No, I've got lost no throttle.
Slow 6 right, tight to 1.
A frustrating start for her, losing over a minute. Frustration too for Hayden McKenzie in the other Toyota. He had a relatively clean run through the stage, just a couple of seconds slower than Thompson, only for his gearbox input shaft to snap in the next stage, forcing him to retire.
Tight and short 4 minus.
On the other hand, Josh Marston was having a great start in the AP4 Holden, following on from his podium at Otago. Josh has quickly found the pace after a couple of seasons away from the championship. As a driver who has the most experience with the MRF rally tyre, he also seems to have the confidence to lean on the tyre, especially the super soft, ideal for these conditions. Josh was second fastest, just 15 seconds down on Hunt over the 23 kilometres.
Yeah, it's a very mixed bag in there. Very hard to judge like if we're going slow or fast or whatever, so yeah, I got no idea.
Now the stages were gravel public roads in the shadow of the spectacular Southern Alps. Hunt was able to stretch his lead out to 50 seconds over the following 2 stages before service. It was a classic tactical move of pushing hard to create an early lead that the other competitors would now have to chase. Jack Hawkswood second fastest over the 2 stages, so starting to put pressure on Marston. The difference between the 2 drivers was small, 10 seconds on stage 2. But here on stage 3, Marston was only a tenth of a second slower, so he still had a 14-second buffer.
5 left plus, and 5 right minus, K40, short 5 right plus, 50, short.
Robbie Stokes was trying to drive around an issue with the differential, changing his driving style to adapt, and that allowed him to close on Dylan Thompson.
Braking gear, 4 right.
Thompson was having minor issues as well. They'd guessed on a suspension setup before the start and it wasn't working very well. So he was heading to the service with a plan to change it. Emma Gilmore were also having issues with rear brakes now. They had overheated and she was having a difficult time pulling the Citroen up. Not good for confidence. The service was at the small town of Cave, not far from Pleasant Point.
We saw that on recce it was going to be pretty slippery, and it was interesting though. Like some parts that we thought would be slippery were quite good. There was quite a bit of grip, but there was others that was catching you out, and obviously plenty of people had some interesting times. So we went good through there, pushed on, and really felt good in the car. So yeah, the other 2 stages went well. So really happy.
Yeah, I was a little bit cautious in there. It's a very technical stage. 2 or 3 sections downhill that's very fast and high needly and slippery. So we just tried to be as smooth and clean as we could in the car and push where we could. So yeah, pretty happy with our time through there. So yeah, these next few stages are very, very fast, and it'll be interesting to see what happens out there.
We've just found we think the rear unlocker in the diff has stopped working. I sort of felt at the end of Otago it might have been the case, but yeah, the car's so new to us that we didn't really know. We pulled the gearbox out and had a look at it after Otago and it was all fine, so I thought, oh well, must be all good. But yeah, the first stage, literally the second corner of the first stage today, we had a high-speed spin and that whole stage was really tough with the rears all locking up all the time with the unlocker not working. So yeah, it's just how we have to drive it today, and yeah, be a different sort of mindset now to get through the rally. But yeah.
3 more stages before service at Temuka. Stage 4 being the power stage, which included a very long fast section which would see the cars reach top speed. These stages are south of Timaru and wider than the narrow stages of the morning. This section is one of the longest flat-out sections of any stage in New Zealand. The Skoda WRC2 Evo will reach its top speed of 181 kilometres an hour. Not the fastest car in the rally, but these WRC cars are built for speed from corner to corner, not so much from a straight line. Despite that, Hunt would win the stage and take the power stage points, 5 for the win. The battle behind was close. In fact, on this power stage, the times from 2nd to 5th separated by under 10 seconds. Josh Marston holding on to 2nd place. But Jack Hawkswood was slowly closing the gap. By stage 5, it was down to 10 seconds. Robbie Stokes unable to change his issue with the diff unlocker, so he was doing his best to hang on to these two. His issue was causing the car to understeer, and he was unable to encourage the rear to slide, which is key to getting pace out of these cars. Emma Gilmore and Dylan Thompson still fighting for 5th place. They would swap stage times throughout the afternoon.
Fast short 5 left, plus 5 fast.
Emma has teamed up with Australian co-driver Ben Searcy in 2025. On these super fast stages, the trust between driver and co-driver is crucial. They spend Friday before the event driving once over the stages and checking the pace notes, or in Emma's case, writing their own. The top drivers like Emma are visualising the road ahead of them from what the notes tell them, and that is how they can confidently drive flat over crests or know to slow after a corner for the next tighter corner. In New Zealand, most drivers start by using the Jemba note system, pre-prepared safety notes by former champion Neil Allport, which they received the night before recce. So while pace notes sound similar, each driver will have their own special words, descriptions, etc. to suit themselves. Some will add more detail, others will use less, but the aim is the same, to drive as fast as possible. So how much of a difference can it make?
Hi everybody, it's Dylan Turner here. I just wanted to add some extra comments from a driver's perspective. Let's have a look at one corner in the stage. First through we've got Ben Hunt. He's going to set our benchmark time. Second one through, Robbie Stokes. You can see he did a little Scandi coming in. He looked like he was struggling to slow the car down. Next up we've got Jack Hawkswood. Nice tidy line, good straight line speed on the exit of that corner. Dylan Thompson, older car, but possibly a little bit more horsepower, I think, than the other cars. Then you've got Emma in one of the newest cars, really nice and tidy, late brake and dips it in nicely. Josh Marsden next up, just nice and tidy through, but it looks like he has 2 stabs at that apex. Then we've got Caleb McDonald, he's in one of the oldest cars, an Evo 6, definitely oldest car in the fleet. Then you've got Gavin Feast, has a big deceleration, kind of a wonky line. Anyway, when we look at the crossover, it's quite strange because Emma is well and truly the quickest through. She's almost 1/10 of a second up on Ben. So it just goes to show sometimes the speed we make in one corner doesn't always show at the end of the stage, because Ben went on to win that stage.
The afternoon feature stage at Southburn was the final before the repeat of the Kākahu Forest stage. It was also the closest stage result for the rally so far, with Ben Hunt setting a stage time at 5 minutes 31 seconds. Jack Hawkswood second fastest at 5:33.2. Then it was Josh Marsden, just 0.2 of a second slower. Robbie Stokes fourth fastest, despite his issues only 4.8 seconds slower than Marsden. And Emma Gilmore another 2.6 seconds back. Dylan Thompson was the slowest of the four-wheel drive cars, but only 13.4 seconds behind Hunt.
The crews headed to the town of Temuka, made famous by its Temuka pottery. The distinctive earthenware has been a part of most Kiwis' lives, and along with a unique collection, the shop in Temuka still sells new cups, plates and bowls. The service was a final chance for the crews to make changes before tackling the tough repeat of the Kākahu Forest.
Damn first stage again, was going good until the car cut out. Not sure why really, couldn't see anything in the data, but after that the throttle lost, the accelerator pedal lost calibration, so it became really laggy, and so it was a really difficult car to drive out of the stage. And then from that we then had overheated the rear brakes, so the next 2 stages were really difficult because we had no brakes, and they're very, very fast stages to not have the confidence that you can stop when you need to stop. So grateful to get back to service. The guys sorted things out, and we've had a better last 3 stages, so we'll just try and do some more setup changes. We're a little bit in no man's land at the moment, and just keep learning.
South of Timaru, those stages, they were dry. There's the odd puddle sitting places, but dusty. It'll be interesting to see what the forestry stage is like now in the repeat. I'd say some of it would have cleaned up really nicely, but there will still be that pine needly downhill stuff that will be pretty tricky. So I'd say everyone will be keeping their caution going down that.
They say in motorsport, to finish first you must finish. Emma Gilmore wasn't going to win today, but she was still pushing hard to get as many points as possible.
No idea, something in there.
3 left plus 40. I think that's
That front suspension has been damaged. She's going no further.
inside 20, 3 left, 40.
She was not alone though. Jack Hawkswood stopped with a failed engine. That would promote Dylan Thompson here to 4th place as he's just run over part of Jack's piston.
Flip, 4 left plus.
Right.
So that promotes Robbie Stokes into 3rd place after a difficult day, while Josh Marston holds a solid 2nd with just the sprint around levels to go.
Long flat 6 left minus. Flat 6 right plus 50. 7 left.
Ben Hunt able to better his time through the forest. The road had improved after the morning run. A great job by Ben and co-driver Tony Rawston, who was celebrating his 40th birthday this weekend.
Keep in 6 right plus. Shortish 6 left. 60.
A bit of fun to end the day at Levels Raceway. Fortunately, all the cars finishing the short sprint stage, which was entertaining for the Timaru locals who were so passionate about their motorsport.
So just 4 of the 8 finishing in Cat 1, Ben Hunt taking the win over Josh Marston, with Robbie Stokes doing well to hold on to 3rd from Dylan Thompson.
Yeah, I was a little bit nervous going into the forest first thing this morning. Obviously, normally been pretty good in forestry, but the Stokes boys with Otago, the 2 forestry stages kicked my ass. So, I didn't really know what to expect, but I just drove clean and tidy, and it was relatively smooth both passes, and probably where I gained the advantage. But awesome day, very fast roads in the middle, unreal.
We had our own dramas as well. We had a rock in the middle loop and punctured the sump, and I got to say the boys did the most amazing job. The heat gun was out and the JV weld and hammers and everything, and it was phenomenal. So full credit goes to the team for getting us through. It was amazing.
Yeah, happy to be up here, and a bit of a slog, but makes it feel that much better. But had a bit of help with unfortunately Jack having his issues in the second to last stage there, and he should have been up here.
Next up, the Lone Star Canterbury Rally. See you then.